Welcome everybody again to our webinar called Protecting Yourself from Scams. I'd like to introduce Ronald Long. He will be speaking with us today about a very important topic that's kind of a hot topic for all of us, not just seniors. But this will be empowering seniors to combat fraud, and he'll have a lot of good information for us. Just a few housekeeping items. You are all on mute at the moment, but we do welcome questions. You can submit your questions, and if you're on your desktop, the Q&A button is at the bottom of your screen. Some of you who might have a tablet might find it at the top of your screen, but you can submit your questions through the Q&A throughout the program if you like, but he might have a lot of things to say. You may want to wait until the end to submit your question, but we will go over those at the end of the program. We're always looking for suggestions on how to improve our events. Suggestions are welcome. If you have an idea for a future topic, please let us know. And I do want to let you know that this program is being recorded, so you will automatically get one sent to you in a couple of days after this program. I'm going to first just start by talking a little bit about Riverwoods and give you a little information before we start with Ron. Just to give you some information on what is a life care community, also known as a CCRC or a continuing care retirement community. We are an insurance product. Our contracts are regulated by our state. Our financial performance is reported annually to our state of New Hampshire. And you're, in essence, prepaying for medical expenses and ensuring that when and if you need assisted living, memory support, or nursing care, you will already be prepaying for that. A portion of your entrance fee and monthly fee are tax deductible because they are considered a prepaid medical expense. But these communities are also a lifestyle choice, and you're entering in on your own decision, living independently, and it helps you, become free from your maintenance chores, things that you have to do at home. If and when you need transportation, we can provide that to you. There are numerous educational programs, activities, informational sessions, and musical performances that you can join. Of course, it increases your social options immediately just by walking out your front door. And it also allows you to stay in control of your life throughout your time here. Riverwoods today, you're looking at all of our communities. We started with Riverwoods Exeter, and over a 16-year period from 1994 to 2016, we built the Woods campus, the Ridge campus, and the Boulders campus. And then we acquired a company that had been started in 1993 called Birch Hill, became Riverwoods Manchester in 2018. And then Durham, our campus in Durham was built in 2019 and began in 2019, 2020. We are run by our CCRC board, which is our governing body for our existing communities. We do have residents who are members of the board. That board is really in charge of running our communities and making sure everything is running smoothly. We consult with our CEO, our system CEO, who also reports to our system board. So we also have a board that focuses on our mission and future growth. Our system board provides professional fee-based services to all of our communities, including finance, information technology, human resources, marketing, and quality assurance. They will also fund at-risk portions of projects that each of our communities are doing, new ventures. And our communities are financially independent of each other. So we at Riverwoods Exeter have our own executive director, as well as the one in Manchester and Riverwoods Durham. And we always have the opportunity to provide additional funding annually to the Riverwoods group. Now we're moving on to our presenter, Ronald Long. He focuses on helping financial service firms preventing or mitigating harm relating to elder financial exploitation, scams, and other fraud directed at the older and otherwise at-risk investors. His guidance is backed by a depth of professional experience and knowledge of security regulations. He co-leads Stevens and Lee Senior Investor Compliance Services team, and that focuses on providing firms with key guidance to help their investors confront exploitation and scams. Ron is a national authority and thought leader on these issues affecting elderly and at-risk inventors. So it is my pleasure to introduce Ronald Long for this very informative session today.
Well, thank you, Christy, and thanks everyone for showing up today. And for the longest time, I've been able to talk about these issues related to seniors and scams, pretending, of course, that I wasn't a senior. As I told some of the folks earlier, I'm celebrating my 70th year this year. So this is my core element and part of feathering my own nest as I age. So what I hope to cover today, though, are what I see as some of the basic things out there that we're seeing related to elder financial abuse. And it's one of those things, you can get the long laundry list, but I hope what we do today is go through some of the basics, let you recognize some of these signs, discuss ways that you can protect yourself and your loved ones. And then if you, in fact, are in the throes of one of these scams, what you can do immediately to take some steps that should make it less likely that you lose large sums of money. You've seen some of the reports lately, but we in the United States are losing billions, literally billions of dollars each year to folks being taken advantage of by criminal actions. Many times there are organized crime gangs from overseas. I hope these police are going after them as we speak. But these gangs are organized to tackle and go after our senior citizens in the US. So one of the defenses we hope to have is learning more, knowing what to do, and make it so that they have to go somewhere else and no longer target our folks here in the US. So if we can go to the next slide, I'll get started on some of the information I want to share. So I'm going to go to some of the basic scams. We'll go through, I think, 4, I might have 5, but romance scam. This is, I also told folks who are remarried. So I understand the idea of being out there single, thinking that there is a love interest out there for you. And many of these scammers use every technique under the sun to convince you that you have finally met the love of your life. And they do it in a lot of ways, but mainly mining some of your social media posts. So if you have said something about you like the opera, they will make sure their profile talks about going to the opera often. Anyway, these scammers use that information, build trust, and then they often will have some emergency, something medical, something happening that they need your money to help assist them to get through that tough time. And then after that, love of my life, I will be able to come to the States and we'll live happily ever after. The second one we're seeing out there, though, are the tech support scams. And this is a good thing. As we've been aging, a lot of us are online. We're very adaptive, moving around the internet and what have you. But every now and then that screen will pop up telling you there's something wrong with your computer, some virus, something that's infected, and you simply click this button to go to tech support, to go, it'll be, they'll say Microsoft sometimes, or use other names, but you need to go here immediately to take care of your computer, protect yourself. And once you click on that button, once you call or dial the number that's mentioned, you are now going to be in the hands of scam professionals who will not let you go until they've drained just about every penny they can out of your financial accounts. And so it is that scam that's looks innocent to start, but once you're in, it is virtually impossible, or at least feels like it's impossible to get out from under. If we can go to the next one, number 3 on my list, are the grandparent scams. All of us aren't grandparents, but you get what tugs at the heartstrings of anyone who is a grandparent. The grandchild calls claiming to be in trouble, and many times they'll call and it'll simply say, "Grandma, it's me." Unfortunately, we help the scam along because we then answer, "Who? Billy?" Now all of a sudden they now know the name of your grandchild, and away they go. And they do what I said the conspiracy was started a long time ago, where the grandchild asks you to no, don't tell mom or dad. They'd be so disappointed. And you and this grandchild have probably engaged in this sort of secrecy before, because many times when the parent drops them off and says, "Don't give Billy any sugar because he'll be crazy all night when we come back to pick him up," the parents leave the room, go on their date or whatever it is, and the first thing the grandparent does is grab a couple cookies and give them to Billy. So that idea of being secretive works, and it is using that secrecy that allows the scammers to convince you to pay what you need to pay to get that grandchild out of prison or settle some sort of case. One of the things we see often is they claim that the grandchild is in a foreign country, got into an auto accident with a pregnant woman, and the child died as a result of the accident, and the foreign country will not let them out of jail unless they can pay for the civil case where the loss of the uh, baby and the mother to be gets compensated through a number of financial withdrawals from your account, the grandparent. The next one, and this falls out of the work I did. I started my career in the Securities Exchange Commission. We were chasing bad guys who engaged in investment fraud throughout the country. Well, what I am seeing now, what we're all seeing, is that that same sort of investment scam has just drifted into the world of crypto, and using that or other scams where they play on the idea that you as a senior need to make sure not only that you have money, but that you earn returns over the longer life you're going to have. It's not enough to just have these old school traditional investments. You need to be in crypto. You need to be in some of these uh, dollar coins or synthetic investments. And it is doing that that will allow you to maintain enough money over your life. So now that you think you've heard a little bit about crypto, here's this very nice person explaining how you can go in and make safe returns. And all of a sudden, you're investing in crypto, or so you think. Almost never is there actual cryptocurrency involved. It's usually a scam website, a fraudulently created site where they say you can invest your money. Or if they, in fact, do purchase cryptocurrencies, they're actually purchasing it in their name and not your name. And they make everything appear that you've opened an account, when in fact, all you've done is open an account for the scammer, and you start sending your hard-earned money to that account instead of an account that's in your name. So if we can go to the next slide, I wanted to talk about some of the signs that you will always know you're in the middle of a potential fraud. Again, I don't need you to memorize all of these, but you need to use the time, some of these ideas or warning signs to let you know that you need to slow down and start to think. One of the first is the request comes out of the blue without any warning. You didn't know your grandchild was all of a sudden in Peru or what have you. And most times I would think you would have that information, but here it comes out of the blue. Grandma is traveling, I'm in Peru, I'm in an accident, and now I need you to help. There always is this need to be acting immediately, urgency, no time to think. You got to do this now. When you hear that from folks, again, you know that's at least a telltale sign of a scam. This concept of being secretive, not telling anybody what you're doing. Don't communicate with anyone else. If you communicate, things will go wrong. That is also a warning sign. You shouldn't be secretive when it comes to finances, when it comes to finances related to strangers who weren't in your life before. Anything that asks you to move large sums of money far beyond what you normally do, we see that as a warning sign of the typical frauds that are out there. Now, this one I'm very frustrated with because they ask you to tell a lie to your financial professional, lie to your family, lie to others about the reasons you're withdrawing the money. You come into the branch of your financial institution, your bank, your brokerage firm, and they have learned about the scams that are out there. So they do ask you, do you mind, Mr. Jones, if I ask you why you need the money? And then the scammers have told you when they ask you that question, say it's for your son to buy a home in his new area, and the home has a price that is perfect, but he has to act now. Or we've heard the lie that is your daughter has met a person, the love of her life. They want to host a wedding immediately in Italy. It's overseas, and you need to send them money so that they can pay for the wedding. Whatever it is, it's a lie. You know it's a lie. The financial firm or your family won't know it's a lie. And that is what these scammers count on. We cannot lie to those about the money we're withdrawing. The final one we're seeing more of is that they ask you to move your money to help law enforcement catch somebody else that's crooked. Let's not do that. Law enforcement should be able to catch people on their own, or at least without using your money. So any of these warning signs, and there are more, but use these as sort of a checklist for yourselves to say that this is not sounding right. Let me move away from this situation immediately. If we go to the next slide, I have here some ideas on ways to protect yourself. First one is, and I mentioned that in a tech support scam, but there are other situations where some stranger says, I can help the situation, just give me remote access to your computer. Now, we know that this is used a lot to help make a repair to your computer or correct some problem. That's done, but that we should only do that with a company that we know and that we have accessed ourselves through something independent that we have learned and vetted, not someone who's on a random email asked you to connect with them and give access to your computer. Just so you know, when you give remote access to your computer, you essentially now have given them access to all of your financial accounts. One of the things that they do in this remote access scam is literally take money from one side of your account and put it in another account, and then tell you you have gotten an unexpected windfall, and you're not looking at both sides of your account. So all of a sudden, it does look like someone overpaid you $20,000 or whatever amount they choose. And you, being the honest person that you are more than happy to say, I'm not keeping money that's not mine. Sure, I'll give you your $20,000 back. Well, what it really is the $20,000 came from your own savings and went into your checking, so that when you looked at checking, it did appear that you had received money that you ordinarily weren't entitled to. Here's one I ask folks to do. I call it the family financial fire drills. Let's talk with the sons, daughters, if they're old enough, the grandchildren, about what we would do in some of the scenarios I mentioned before. I would like people to use the dating apps safely, but if you're on a dating app and you have someone asking for money, let's practice what we would do. Have the family understand what you would do. Maybe walk through a couple of scenarios. The other one I have here is create a family password. This is a password that everyone knows they have to use. So if you get that phone call, Grandma, it's me. I'm stuck in Venezuela I have to pay money to leave. And you can say, I love you, my grandchild, but that tale of woe can only mean something to me if you give me the family password. And you can't accept grandma, I forgot it, or grandma, I'm too nervous, I can't remember. No, create a family password, insist that it be used. And if you do that, I think it makes it less likely you'll fall for some of the scams out there that try to involve your love for your children or your grandchildren. I think a lot of us need to do more with the technology. Chrissy's laughing at me as I say this, but let's go to the community college and take a course or two on some of the online technology that can help us, including information on antivirus and these virtual private networks that help build a defense mechanism for your technology that makes it less likely that the bad guys can get through to you. I would ask your financial institutions to let you name a trusted contact. This is a thing we came up with when I was at the financial firm. We called it, in case of emergency, it's now morphed into trusted contact. And what we're asking the financial firm is to let you list the name of someone, son, daughter, somebody you trust, that says to the financial institution that if I come in and I ask for a large sum of money, and if you, financial institution, you say that's not what Ron normally does, I don't think this is all kosher, you get to call this trusted contact, and you've agreed in advance that the financial institution can do this, and they will call the trusted contact and say, your mom or dad or Ron is here. He's asking for a large sum of money. Can you call Ron, talk to him, and see if this is information, if this request is legitimate, that it has real meaning to it. Please try to use this trusted contact. Think about asking the financial institution to let you name 2 or 3 trusted contacts, someone they can talk to if they suspect something's amiss. A lot of people give me a hard time on this one, but I firmly believe you simply shouldn't answer the phone from numbers you don't know. If it's a son or daughter, and even if it's a doctor's office, many times they will leave a message that this is the doctor's office. I need you to call us back. Your son or daughter can leave a voicemail, or many times you'll have their number in your contact list. But phone numbers that you don't know should never, ever be answered live by you. Make them go to voicemail. This is another one. I don't want you to ever, ever, ever call a number that's given to you in a pop-up to a message you clicked on. You may have accidentally done it. Maybe you didn't hear the first part, but you've clicked on one of these tech support messages and they give you a phone number to say, this is the number you call for Microsoft support or Dell support or whatever it is. Do not ever call that number. If you need to call Dell, if you need to call Microsoft, you go and find their listed number in a reliable source and call that number. Do not call numbers that come from pop-ups that claim to be on behalf of one of your service providers, internet, telephone, what have you. I said this before, I'm saying it again. You can't lie to your family. You can't lie to the financial professionals. And you particularly can't lie to them about a request for money that came from somebody else. You're lying to your own family or financial professional at the request of some stranger that found you on the internet somehow or some other way through a phone call. Don't tell that lie to the family. And this one is just absolutely important on any number of levels, because we see a number of the scams now where the way they want the money is not that you send it over the internet, but they will send a courier or someone coming to your house to collect cash. There was an incident in Delaware County, Delaware, the state of Delaware, where a woman gave $600,000 in gold coins to a so-called courier because she was told in one of these scams that this was the way to protect her money because the person she was talking to was part of the federal government. The government doesn't go around collecting gold at your house. Please don't do that. Never give money to couriers. And the other thing, this is just unsafe. It is unsafe to have cash, lots of cash in your house, and have strangers come knock on the door to collect it. Or in some instances, they ask you to take this cash and go to a FedEx or UPS. No, you shouldn't be going around town with tons of cash. If we can go to the next slide, and then I'm talking a lot, so hopefully we'll be able to get some questions or get some interaction. But you didn't listen to everything I said. You're now in the middle of a scam. What do we do? What do we do? For the online scams, the tech support, what have you, unplug your computer, unplug your router, and call your family or somebody who you rely on, usually decades younger than I am, that helps you with your technology. You call them and tell them what's going on. You unplug everything, though. Your computer's unplugged, your router's unplugged. Again, that might make it difficult to make a phone call. Knock on a neighbor's door. Can I use your cell phone? I'm in the middle of something. I need to call my family. Contact your trusted contact, a trusted family member, once you know that or feel that you're in a scam. Let them know. Don't make it a secret. Now, I will say this, and this is why I asked to have these family meetings. We have got to have, and a lot of us did this with our kids when they were learning to drive, maybe drinking. We told them there is a no guilty zone to tell us, call us, say, Mom, I'm in a situation. Dad, I'm over here, had a few drinks, I don't want to drive home. We need to do the same thing with some of these financial scams. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel embarrassed. Be able to tell your family member or other trusted person that, hey, I did a couple things what Ron Long said don't do. I got in the middle of something, but tell them the full information because that's the best way to protect you and keep you from going further. Do not let embarrassment keep you from protecting yourself. Make sure, again, you're contacting your financial institution at their official number. Get the number from your recent statement on the back of your debit card or credit card. Call them and describe what you've been going through, that you think you're in the middle of a scam, that maybe you gave out a number or that it looks like you may have let them access your account. Let the financial institution know immediately. Call the police. And many times they can't do a lot, but call them immediately to describe the scam and get them to start a possible investigation. The woman in Delaware, even though I told you she gave away the $600,000, when they asked for more, she realized this is not right. She called the police and they essentially set up a sting operation, told her to answer the next request for more money, tell them they can come by the house to pick it up. And when they got there, the police were there to nab them and they were able to trace it back and actually ended up protecting some other people who had been scammed by the same groups. Every state, every county has an adult protective services agency. Call them to report the fraud. And they actually have a number of resources and references to services that can help you as a victim work through some of the challenges, work through recovering, because what we don't want is for you to be almost in a scam or even get scammed and then decide, hey, I can't do this again. I don't want to participate more. No, we want you staying active. We want you staying vibrant, but we want you to do it in a way that you're doing it safely. You're doing it in a way that protects you, in a way that keeps an eye out for your neighbors to your left and right. We want everybody to be able to have the full opportunity to age properly, safely, and not feel like because I fell for or I got in the middle of something that maybe I shouldn't do anything again. I don't want that. It's not good for you and it shouldn't have to happen. Adult Protective Services and a number of resources out there are able to build you back up, let you get back in the game, and be safer as you do it. There is the Federal Trade Commission and the FBI. If your incident occurred online, this IC3 reporting mechanism for the FBI helps fight computer scams and what have you. And then again, I would say think about turning your computer over to the Geek Squad or that equivalent and say, hey, I was in the middle of something. I clicked on a few things. I need you to go through my computer, get rid of any garbage they put on there, any trackers or whatever it is, and make my computer safe again. Let's go to the next slide. I always try to reduce things to 3. I'm up to 4 this one, but these are the 4 C's as I see them. Don't click. We talked about that. Don't click on anything that comes in the pop-ups on the computer or the internet. Don't conceal from anyone the true facts of what you're doing. Don't get cash. Large sums of cash are the first sign of fraud. There's no reason for you to do it. Please don't do it. And do call family, authorities, financial institution when you think you've come close to being scammed. Let them know what's happening. Let them know everything. Don't hide any facts. And then in that way, they can use all of that information to work backwards and protect you. Many times when you're in the middle of a scam and you've given the money, we can't get the money back. But in some instances, it has happened when a victim has contacted folks early enough. The FBI, some of the federal authorities, others have ways to move quickly and possibly get some of the cash back before it's gone overseas or into the hands of scammers. With that, I think we have an opportunity to answer questions and talk more about how we can do more to protect ourselves from the scams that are out there. And frankly, Chrissy said they're targeting everybody, but they're honing in on us as we age because kind of Willie Sutton said, why do you rob banks? He says that's where the money is. Fortunately for us, we did the right things. We have the money and the scammers want it. Let's not give it to them.
Thank you so much. This is very helpful, Ron. I know there have been occasions when here, even at Riverwoods, residents were about to fall for a scam. For instance, you didn't mention it, but the gift card scam where they call and they need to rush out to get gift cards. And luckily, they did stop at the front desk or they stopped and talked to one of our maintenance guys. And they kind of said, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. I think that might be a scam. And they were, saved from falling for that kind of a thing. But are there, I'm sure
And let's just take a second, if I could, on the gift
Yep.
card one. Let's remember, no government agency takes gift cards, and particularly Apple iTunes cards or no, let's not do the gift cards. It sounds reasonable. And it's not why she's an ex, but my ex almost fell for one on the jury duty scam. You've missed jury duty. I'm sending sheriffs over to arrest you immediately unless you go get $400 or $500 gift cards to pay your $2,000 fine. No, you're not doing that. We're not giving gift cards to anyone, whether you're an ex or not.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's right. And it seems reasonable the way you're describing it, that anything that's, sudden, you have to do it right away, or you have to do it this way, should kind of make your brain think, this doesn't sound right. So
Exactly.
I have a couple of questions here.
Sure.
This one from Betsy. Is a password locker safe? No, I'm sorry. Is a password locker safer than just writing down passwords and keeping them in a safe place?
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of those. It's and I won't go into name brands, but I use one. And you do that. And what she's talking about is these password keepers where you put in the password and they actually try to give you complicated passwords. So it's not Ron 1234, but they will keep access to all of your passwords there. And that then is for you to use. They give you a signal, usually thumbprint or face recognition that allows you to pull up the password and use it in the websites you're going to. Now, that still means you can't let that password go to the bad guy. Because if the bad guy says, can you go into your password locker and give me the password? The locker can't prevent that. So you're still the final safeguard to keeping your password safe, even though the locker is a perfect place to do it. And the other thing is the password locker helps you not have to remember the 52 different websites you go to and the 52 different passwords. Because what a lot of us have done, rather than remember 52 passwords, we use one password on 52 sites. That's not helpful either.
Yeah, that's right. I know. And nowadays they want you to use capital and numbers and so it's hard to remember all of the ones they've created.
Exactly.
So I have an anonymous with a question. They've received
Sure.
numerous phone messages on voicemail, and if they don't recognize the number, uh, let's see, stating a name on a list of persons who have unpaid tax liabilities,
Mm-hmm.
that they can help resolve them. He listens to the message, looks for the caller in the call log, so he can block the number, but the number does not show up. So the calls will continue. So I know in my iPhone, sometimes you can say this was, delete the number and report it as spam. But why is it that the numbers continue? Why do they continue to call? Do they change? Do the numbers change?
Yeah, no, this is part of it, and we have the do not call list, and you can use that. But I don't know how to stress it enough, and I get in trouble when I name countries, so I'm not going to name the country or the countries. But this is organized crime. These folks sit overseas in literally bullpens of phone calls they make using spoof numbers that then come in through our phone system and come into your phone. This person is doing exactly the right thing and delete it, put it on the block, but they then come up with a new number and they will continue to keep coming after you. And God forbid you ever answer once. Once you answer one time, you then move to what they call the sucker list, and they sell that list to others that Ron will answer if you call, and the calls will keep coming. Um, I'm not going to get too much trouble, but I'll just say it. We need our telecom people to do better. They can, and they do have technology to know that calls are not originating from the United States, not originating from tax authorities. They're coming in from overseas. They have technology where that should be blocked immediately, or if not blocked, it should be something that goes into some sort of holding box that never enters your phone because they can identify it's coming from one of these foreign countries that we know are typically scam places. And one of the arguments is that, hey, some of these foreign countries do have the citizens over here in the US. But again, the telecom people can figure that out. I can register that, yes, my dad lives in XYZ foreign country. So don't block my dad. That's fine.
Right, right. Yeah, that makes sense. I wish they could do that or would do that.
It's a wood.
Yeah.
Australia and New England, not New England, England, you guys are in New England. Australia and England have started down that path. Australia further, England's thinking about doing more, but putting more onus on the telecom people to help fight fraud and not just make it Ron saying, hey, don't answer your phone. We can do more, is the argument.
Yeah. This is an interesting question. I placed a freeze on my credit report services years ago on a professional advice after some data breaches. Should I keep the freeze in place indefinitely? And when do I need to remove the freeze? And does that help with scams?
It helps a lot with scams. It only helps with certain scams, but it does help. Keep the freeze indefinitely until if you need to buy a car, unfreeze it. If you're about to buy a house, or those are about the only two I can think of why you would unfreeze it. But for the most part, particularly for residents here, you probably have the last house you're going to buy. But if you're going to buy a house, unfreeze it then. But I recommend that, although I think I have frozen mine. But yeah, freeze your credit report. I won't be buying another car for a while. And then only unfreeze it for a specific instance of a need that you have to fulfill.
Okay. And there's another one I don't exactly understand, but it says, should financial institutions still use my voice? Let's see, I just lost it here. My voice is my password. Please recognize me. Now that we have AI, does that make sense to continue to use
Yeah,
that?
AI is very scary. AI is very scary and it will get better. But the beauty of the voice, and I learned this a while ago, and I think it's still true. Once my voice is my password, use it. There are close to 2,000 individual little markers that your voice has. The AI guys are good. They can't do 2,000. They may get 60 of them or 70 or whatever, get 120. The good systems will say that, that's not Ron. It's pretty close, but we know Ron's 2,000. This is only giving us 200 of Ron's 2,000. The voice is still good, but the person's right. The AI people are good. Will they get better? Will they get from 200 to 400 to 600? They may, but I'm old enough to be back in the radar detector days. They used to have the radar, police had radar, and the radar detector people made police detection radar. Then the police made the anti-radar radar detect. So all I'm saying is we'll get voice prints even better. They will then try to do more AI to catch a voice print. So this game will go on for a while. So I still like the voice print. I like anything biometric. I like your eyeball. I like your face. I like your thumbprints. Those are all things, fingerprints, all things versus trying to have Ron remember 5 letters plus a special character.
There's one question. This was the first question. Does Riverwoods provide IT support to residents, either in cases of scams, for simple things? Yes, we do have a fabulous one person who works just for residents, Jamie. Everybody loves him. He helps them with technology but really anyone here at Riverwoods could help if we suspected a scam. Talk to anybody here. But yes, we do have some technical people here as well. Um, Beth says that lately I've received texts from FedEx and UPS saying that they want to deliver a package and need more info. If I was not expecting a package, and then she looks at the email address and it looks suspicious. So she's just been deleting them. But so this is yet another scam.
It's FedEx, it's the Postal Service, US Post. They're all scams, 99.9%, particularly when you're not expecting a FedEx package. But this, I think it was Beth, she is saying, and I don't have it here, and Jamie, the tech person, should help folks. You have to know how to do that part. And that's why I said go to the tech class at the community college. You hover over FedEx, and when you hover over the email FedEx, it all of a sudden pops up that the real email address is not FedEx. It's billyscammer@gmail.com or whatever it might be. But you have to know that technique that Beth mentioned, which is to hover over the email and it will tell you the true, and that would be for anything. Something says your financial institution, sounds good, but it's back to my President Reagan, trust but verify. You're going to verify that it is in fact your financial institution by hovering over. Now, when they come by text, that doesn't work as well, but don't take the text, delete. FedEx knows how to call you and say, we've got your package.
Yep. And nowadays they usually keep you updated anyway. If you order something, it's on your email and they update you as your packages are
Right.
arriving. So yeah.
And you have the order number. Look
Right.
for the order
Yeah,
number of the
yeah.
order you actually made.
So this is another question. Once in the dark web, if you ever get into the dark web, are you always there? Medicare, LifeLock, Experian have all been hacked, and while they offer account protection for a few years, what happens after the account protection lapses?
No, it's not so much once you're in the dark web, you're always there. They do offer the protection. And what they will often be able to do is say, not that the dark web doesn't have your information, but it is moving around the dark web. After a year, you should think about paying for someone else to give you that same sort of heads up. But I can't say, and I won't say that, hey, once you do these guys, you're protected. They have it in the dark web. The bad guys move it around from bad guy to bad guy. They pay a fee. I don't know what it is, but your social security number, your Medicare number is information that's valuable on the dark web. And that value changes, but it still has a value to the bad guys.
So do you recommend continuing to keep some kind of an organization to?
Yeah, I strongly recommend you find people that monitor it. Somebody talked earlier about the password keeper, the password manager. Many of them offer that as an additional service. Not only do we keep your passwords, we monitor for your information on the dark web, alert you when we see something moving, stopping it when they can, and what have you.
Okay, good. This person wants to know if it's safe to use a McAfee type product for protection on your computer.
Absolutely safe. And McAfee type, I'm not endorsing McAfee. You want antivirus type products, but you want to get them from the original. You can't get it from the guy that pops up on your screen that, hey, your antivirus protection has lapsed. Please click this. No, we don't want that. But you do want to get the professional service. Again, I go back to the part about let's go to the community college, get some training. But you also want to learn where you buy the professional, real service from the legitimate site and get that installed on your computers. Absolutely, everybody should have that. You should have the virtual VPN, virtual private network, which I don't understand. I just know I use it. But all of those are things you want to make sure you're getting those services, pay whatever it is, the amount, the annual subscription's well worth the safety.
Yeah, good to know. Susan has heard that you should not unsubscribe on an email, but just to delete the email, the fearing that unsubscribe gives too much information. Is that true?
I, I I would prefer you just delete it. The unsubscribe does. I unsubscribe to the political guys. I don't want to hear any more from the political people. But absent the political people, I tend to agree. Unsubscribe can give more information, particularly if it was a sketchy site to start with.
Okay, good to know. Let's see. What about Medicare or medical help calls that want personal information? Or also requested to send updated social security card, but they need more info before sending the new card. That must be another scam?
Well, that's a scam. It can be a scam. But if you, in fact, contacted the Social Security Administration to get a new card, you should anticipate getting that card. They probably aren't going to do a lot more than send you the card, send it to you in a safe, because when you make the contact and you're on the Social Security website, sure, they're going to ask you for information. But the Medicare updates or what have you, that has to be from a number you know is your Medicare provider. And maybe it's in fact important that you call the provider yourself. You contact the provider yourself from the site that you know is authorized, not from the email or the text message you receive. But yeah, we have to update those things sometimes. I'm in Medicare Advantage, and I seem to have to change every other year. So, but yeah, I will, and they've called to say, hey, we want to know how you like it. Can you just give me your Social Security number? No, I cannot. If I want to tell you how well I like the Medicare Advantage, I'll go on the site and I'll give you a rating or whatever. But I'm not giving you my number over the phone to make sure it's me.
Yeah, that makes sense. And how about credit cards? Somebody was talking about they're in the third renewal of a card. including the American Express. And people seem to get the numbers, the new numbers, before you get them in the mail. So how does that, is that something that is?
When they say people, the bad guys getting it, that can happen. Bad guys are good. Um, it, it it might be a weakness more on the receiver's end than at the credit. I'm not thinking the credit card companies are being hacked, which can happen. I try not to do commercials. American Express is actually pretty good. So if you're on the third one of your hacked American Express card, it's probably not happening at American Express. You're probably using the card somewhere that is weaker than they should be.
Okay, good to know. And then this is another one that I've even received before, an email from a friend.
Yes.
And again, they're asking for, they're asking how you are, and then they start asking for gift cards or something like that. That is obviously another time maybe you'd hover over the email address or something.
Yeah, hover over the email address because guess what? Our friends get hacked. And once they're hacked, the hacker goes through their entire email or contact list, and all of a sudden you're the next person that comes up. And much as I like friends, I'm not giving friends money from emails. You got to do more than that. You're going to call me, you're going to give me a tale of woe, and then I have to decide, one, that it is you and not AI, which is probably, and if you've called me, you probably are you, but maybe not.
Right.
But yeah, we're not doing anything by email. Call me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
But do the hover first. Do the hover first.
Yeah.
Because it's probably not your friend.
Right. Right. So, we've talked about numerous different scams. Obviously, they come up with new ones all the time. So would you recommend your 4 Cs? Is that what is that what you start to think about when you get something new that you've never seen before?
Yeah, that's exactly where we go. And then let's throw in the H, the hover. But the 4 Cs and the H are it's kind of your safety belt because I gave you 4 scams. We talked about 3 others already. The scammers are good. There's going to be a new version of the scam. It won't be quite romance scam, but it'll be the pen pal scam. Whatever it is, there will be a new one, but they all can't work until they do one of the things where they got to get the money.
Right.
They got to get you thinking you got to do it fast. You got to click something. Many times they need you to lie. They need you to, because let's be clear, and you need to fire them if they are. You cannot walk in to your financial institution and say, I've met the love of my life on the internet. He's now asked me to send him $50,000 so he can come here and marry me. If that financial institution says, oh, okay, sure, Chrissy, here's the $50,000, you need to fire the financial institution and turn them into the police because they're essentially like aiding and abetting fraud. Mm-hmm. That's why they have to ask you to lie. Right. Because the lie, we had this one, it's very tragic. Why do you need the $50,000? My sister-in-law has stage 4 cancer. There's an experimental treatment in Peru. I am willing to send her $50,000 so she can pay for that treatment. What financial institution is going to tell you, don't save your sister-in-law's life? Mm-hmm. They give you a creative, I don't want to be that guy. Right. She died, you wouldn't let me send her money.
Right, right.
Now, of course it was a lie. Of course it was a lie. Right. But you put the financial institution in a tough spot. That's why I say don't lie to your financial institution, particularly a lie given to you by the stranger asking you for money.
Right, right, exactly. Somebody asked to explain the hover technique again. Basically, go ahead.
I was going to say it'd be nice if we could share, and I should have put a slide, but you get an email from somebody. Most emails say from Billy to you, Riverwoods resident. What hover means is you take the mouse, or I guess nobody has a mouse anymore. But anyway, you take the clicker, whatever, but you move it to that email and you don't click the email, you just let it stand over. The arrow stands over that email, and it will show truly that the email is not from UPS, but it is in fact from Fast Freddy the scammer. And it says Fast Freddy can't hide that part of it. And it almost says Fast Freddy the scammer. Many times they're smart enough to say not say that, but it'll be gobbledygook.
Right,
But it will tell you the real true email address.
right,
The email address is almost never going to say ups.com.
right, right, right. For
So
instance, if you
it,
were
it
hovering
maybe,
over, yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. No, you go.
Oh, I was just gonna say, if you were to hover over your friend's email and it said, Jane Smith, when you hovered over that name, it would show their actual email address, which you would know because it would be in your contact address. But
Yeah, and this is just something everybody, when we hang up today, I want you to practice and play with some of these things. Practice hovering over things. Practice, or not practice, but Google the antivirus people and the password keeper people. See which one seems to offer good services. Don't stop there though, because they got fakes out there. But you want to find what are the top 10 best password keepers and just see what one of the top newspapers, try not to mention newspapers anymore. But anyway, there's a good one out there. There are a couple of good ones. Use those to decide. They say the top 5 of 2025 are these 5. And then go look at them yourself. Look at all 5 of them. See what offers the best thing for you. But you want to do, I don't have this C in here, but I think I should add it. You want to take charge. You're in charge of your financial security and safety first. People like me talk about it. Chrissy will help. Jamie will help. But the first line of defense is you. Let's start taking control. Let's take charge. Let's send the scammers. The best thing we want to do with the scammers is, as much as they try, because you guys at Riverwoods are thinking and talking about it, they have to skip Riverwoods because they're not getting any success there. I feel bad for the people they go to next, but at least we're going to stop them at Riverwoods. Do not come here. We've learned, we know better. We're working ourselves up to be folks who can protect ourselves better.
Mhm, mhm. Well, good. That it concludes the questions and your program. This was very helpful. I mean, it's helpful not just for seniors, but all of us listening, myself included. Um, I'm just going to forward the next thing to introduce a new, uh, basically a new service we have called NaviGuide. So this is something that you may want to talk to friends or family members about. Oops, well, there we go. Because there is a fee-for-service support system here that can help you if you have any need for outside services from when you're living at home for some of your loved ones. So this is a great service. Amanda Kelly is a wonderful um, team member here who could help you through that, through some of your struggles. And the next information session is any online session we have. It's a kind of a Riverwoods 101. Those are monthly, and you can go on and check them out for each community. And we did questions, and I have that up. I guess I'll leave that up for you, Ron.
Yeah,
Um,
don't have to read all of it, but now I can go back to the firm and say, I did give the disclaimer.
Yeah. So you're definitely helped us with a lot of things to think about and things to practice in the future. And I really appreciate the time you've given us today.
No, I thank you guys. Thanks for the invitation, and it's hope it helps some of the takeaways help as folks navigate this world of bad guys who are after our money.
That's right. I love it. Thanks for the help you've given us today, and I appreciate meeting you.
Yep, same here. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for all coming.